My name's Steve. I'm an addict. So I'm going to tell you what happened to me. I grew up in, like, if you drove by my house, it looked like Leave It to Beaver lived there. You know what I mean? We literally had a white fence, you know? And we had a pickup truck and a car in the driveway and a dog chained up in the backyard named Mork. And my father went to work every day, and my mother stayed home, and you know what I mean? Like the American family. But inside the American family house was chaos. Inside the American family house was weird stuff. It wasn't like a lovey-dovey place. It was almost like a mean, angry place, you know? I don't know if anyone can identify with that. You know, it wasn't like, oh, hi, glad you're home, honey. You know, it's like, your father had a bad day at work. Maybe you should go up in your room. You know what I mean? I remember being so afraid of my father, I'd piss out my window on the second floor. You know, and then I can remember one time my neighbor's wife coming over to tell my mother that she didn't appreciate me pissing out the window. And so then I decided that it would be a lot better if I pissed in my brother's plants in his room. You know? But what I'm saying is, you know, I don't know where you came from. Just like I don't know what it's going to take for you to stay clean. I'm just going to tell you what happened to me. You know what I mean? I'm going to tell you my story. And if you can identify with it, that's great. And don't try not to identify with the people, places, and things. Try to identify with how I felt. And maybe you felt that way. You know, because, listen, I know for me, being around here this long, it's all about that. It's all about overconfident with an inferior complex. You know? That's what addicts and alcoholics are. Toughest guy in the room. Scared little kid inside. You know? That's why we have this meeting like this. This is why we have this. This is why we don't have women looking at us right now. You ain't going to be sitting here being like crying and talking about your kids. Shit that's ripping you apart if there's a nice set of fake moves looking at you. You know what I mean? You can be like, yeah, I got all screwed up. I was tough. You know what I mean? Listen, we all got screwed up. We all thought we were tough. I thought I was the toughest guy in the world. I was tough. I got my ass kicked a lot, you know? But I'll tell you what. I'll tell you the deal. The deal was I was insecure. The deal was I never felt like I fit in, you know? I don't know if anyone can identify with that, you know? I didn't fit in with, like, the jock kids. I didn't fit in with the burnout kids. I didn't fit in here. I didn't fit in there. And then when I decided to take a drink, because kind of like I was pressured into it, I fit in. I was joking around, thought I had some cool friends. And from the day I drank, I swear, I drank like every day. I'm talking 7th, 8th grade, Colt 45 before the bus. You know? That's not normal, I don't think, you know? And then when I got introduced to smoking weed, every day, like vitamins. It was like one a day. You know what I mean? Need it. Need it to go to school. How can you go to school? No, I can remember I wanted to go in the Navy. I had to take this test. And I, you know, rolled up a big fat joint. And my buddy that was going with me, and I'm like, smoke this baby, we'll be all set, you know? And he's like, dude, we got to go take the test. I'm like, yeah, if you don't smoke this, you're definitely going to fail. You know what I mean? Like, because that's the thought pattern. That's the way we start to think. That's what we start to believe. We believe our own lies. Like the lie that everyone smokes weed. Everyone drinks. 1986, everyone does cocaine. You know what I mean? Movies, shows, Scarface. I mean, come on. Get with the program. And that's what I fell into. Justification. You know, my sponsor, when I got here, used to say, justification from reality. You know? And what happened to me is, as fast as all that stuff came, and as fast as I felt cool, and I was hanging out with the cool people, and I'll tell you, I made out really good. You know, and there's people in this room tonight that know me from back in the day. And I'm here to tell no lies tonight. And just like in recovery, how I grabbed it and hung with the winners and the dudes that had time, and they had what I wanted, when I was out there using, that's who I hung with. I went to the top right away. There was no middle dudes. Whether it was dealing weed, smoking weed, doing the cocaine gig, I went to the top of the ladder. Because in my brain, I screwed my life up as a normal person. You know, this is like 17 years old. I I screwed my life up as a normal person, so I better become the best drug addict and dealer I can. And believe in that. Believing at 18 years old that my life as a regular person, or whatever you want to call it, is over. Already got pinched for the freaking Class A substance, already wrecked all the cars, already an habitual offender, you know what I mean? Already, like my parents got sick of it, you know? Like I didn't park my car in the driveway, I parked it in the telephone pole in front of my house. You know what I mean? My father would get up for work, I'd get a whack in the head, and he'd be like, come here. Didn't even know I did it. Didn't even know I took the pole right out. I went in the house, went to bed. You know? Another time, I was all whacked out and I was on coke. My father wanted me to help him take a stove in the house. I cut off these 3 fingers right here. I cut them right off. Got trapped under the stove. I ripped my hand out. You know? Mass General, operations. And you know what happened with that? I wasn't even worried about these 3 fingers. I was still worried about getting high every day. And these fingers started turning green, you know? And I was supposed to go get the dressing changed, and I had all this metal stuck through my fingers, and I had this big cast on. And I can remember my freaking hand smelling so bad. I was at this party, and everyone's like, what's that smell? You know, and I'm like, it's my fucking hands, you know, in my head. So there was a store below the party. I didn't have any money. I stole a Sunbeam bread, loaf of bread, emptied it out, and put my hand in the Sunbeam bread bag with the little dots. You know what I mean? And it was a little bit rainy, and everyone's like, dude, why? And it's steam in there. It's like smoking. And they're like, well, why you got that? I says, oh, well, it's raining a little bit. I can't get this shit wet. You know what I mean? And it just took the smell away. I'm talking about not taking showers sometimes. That smell. You know, like, whoo. You know, walking like this with your armpits down. You know what I mean? Fucking raunchy fucking underwear. Just take them off. Don't wear them. It's better. You know what I mean? Crust in your fucking jeans. I mean, let's talk about some reality here. You know what I mean? Let's not talk about, like I said this the other night, I'm not going to talk about the one night I had 2 chicks at a hotel. It was one night. You know what I mean? And it was a good night. And while we're on that subject, how about when your friend doesn't even want to come out to play because you're that whacked out? You know what I mean? You got this hot chick, you got a room, everything's cool. Sorry, buddy. You know what I mean? Not coming like a turtle crossing the street. Woo, head in the shell. That's truth. That's reality. That's the real shit. You want to stay clean? Think about those days. I have to think about sitting on my parents' porch at night, 2 in the morning. Not allowed in there no more. Because mom and dad, they had enough. They took the key that used to be out. It wasn't out no more. I don't need to live here anyway. Got an apartment with my friends. You know, apartment. Couldn't tell them that. Next thing you know, I'm sleeping in a camper behind my boss's house. Extension cord running out to it. Thought I had it made. November came. Sucked. You know? I blew that. All I had to do was get up and work for the guy. I would get up a half hour before him. I'd go underneath the camper. He'd come out, and I could hear him swearing. You know what I mean? Slam the door, get in his van, and leave. I'd come out from under the camper, get back in bed. You know what I mean? So he had enough of that, kicked me out. I ended up in a motorhome. My friend was putting an engine in. It was in a garage. So I would sneak in the motorhome at night, go to U-Haul, get furniture pads for blankets. That was it. You know? Hang out at people's houses as much as I could. How about your friends you hang out with? Steal their shit, help them look for it all night because you're a good friend. Dude, we should look in your freaking car again, man. Maybe it fell between the seats. You know what I mean? The whole time I'm going in the bathroom doing the dude shit. You know? Maybe we should lift up the couch. You know? And scared someone's going to find out. I can remember that fear and panic in my freaking stomach. You know? I can remember this one time, and people that heard me talk last night have heard me talk before. The reason I say it is because it's no fun, man. And Biggs knows. You want to pretend you're a gangster and you're tough and you're cool. Now, I didn't sign up for that. I was going to New York City to pick shit up with someone. You know? The guy got taken. The guy pulled out a gun. The guy shot someone right in the fucking head. right in front of me. You know what I mean? I watched a human head explode. I watched shit go everywhere. I tell people, I drove to New York with a friend, and I drove home with a murderer. I didn't sign up for that. See, that shit happens like that. Weston knows the deal. He's been incarcerated. He tells you the story when he comes here. Tells you what happens when he gets high. You know what? I believe it. The only reason I'm not in prison today is because I made a freaking deal. I don't want to make no more deals. There's no chances. And you know what's a shitty part? I thought everyone had it out for me. I didn't even realize how lucky I had it to be alive. I didn't even realize how lucky I really was. Police just want, they're out for me. Usually when you don't have a license, an unregistered car, and 4 different tires on it, and a fucking light missing, you might get pulled over. You know? And how about the tornado? Everyone's sitting in this room. Just think about that. The whirlwind, the tornado that we freaking bring to our families. Incredible. And then I come here, I have 6 weeks clean, and I want, my family should have a parade for me. You know what I mean? I can remember telling my father, worked 5 days in a row this week. My father's this one eyebrow lifts up like, you fucking shit me right now? You know what I mean? Dude, you come here and tell people you work 5 days in a row, some people might clap for you. Because we get it. Some of us never held real jobs before. I know I didn't. I was a scammer. And I was taught to work hard. You know? I had some good upbringing from my grandfather and my grandmother, and I had an aunt that loved me to death. And thank God for those people. You know? I took care of my aunt when she got sick, and I laid in bed with her when she died right at that hospital right over there. And when my grandfather got sick, I did the same thing. I freaking took care of him. Tom watched him die with me. Tom watched him take his last breath with me. Tom seen me sitting right on my grandfather's chest talking to him all the way till he freaking stopped breathing. Tom helped me bury my grandfather literally with shovels. That's the kind of friends you can get here. I buried Tom's sister, mother, father. Not to be grotesque, but that brother. But that shit happens. That's real life stuff. It isn't like you can come here for an hour and a half and pretend like this is like the Mickey Mouse Club. You know what I mean? And then you go out there and you beat your wife and you freaking tell people to F off and you don't pay your credit cards and you drive the unregistered vehicles and still get pulled over, come back in here the next night. Hey, how's it going? Oh, it's going pretty good. I'm not drinking, you know? But I'll tell you a secret. When I first came here, that's what it was all about. Just don't drink. Just don't pick up. Just don't do a drug. Because if you don't get a few days together, your head can't even think clear enough to get through the other stuff, to get to those steps he's talking about. You got to put this down. You got to put it down before you have any clarity. Otherwise, we're caught in the grips. People talk about it in here. That impending doom. People that keep coming back. How does that feel? You can't stay clean anymore, but you can't freaking get high either because you got that guilt and you got that shame. How about the bullshit we tell you? How about the bullshit we tell you when you come and get a keychain? Oh, don't worry about it. It's okay. Listen, if you're coming back and you're really hurting, you know it's not okay, man. When me and Tom first got clean, you know what they'd say? You fucking done yet? You had enough? That's what they used to say. That's what they used to say. You say that shit now at a regular meeting, they would be freaking pissed. Who are you? Who are you to say that? I'll tell you who I am. I'm a guy that got it that way. That's how I got it. I got it from tough love. Maybe tough love don't work anymore. I don't know, but it kept me clean. I listened to Doug talk, it kept him clean. I listened to Woody talk, it kept him clean. I listened to Jim talk, it kept him clean. A lot of clean time. I'm talking double digits. Look at that money. Look at that. You can tell we're all clean right now. Nobody's fucking mugging them for it. You know what I mean? I don't know, but I'll tell you what happened in here. I got married in here, and I had a family in here. And then I had, a 5-year-old son, and I never played sports in my life. And the reason I'm talking about this, if you guys have kids, It don't matter if you didn't play sports. If you're clean today, all that matters is that you show up. You know what I mean? And I listened to the other coaches, and I learned with the kids. The kid's 5. He's playing T-ball. It ain't like I had to know how to be a freaking pitcher. He's hitting it off a damn stick. You know what I mean? But by the time that he needed a pitcher, I threw a few pitches at the kids. I hit a couple kids. I ain't going to lie. You know? I used to be the father that no one wanted my kid on their team because when I helped coach, if you made it to third, you deserve to make it home. You know what I mean? Steal home. I hear people talking at the things. Don't pick that guy, man. He makes everyone steal home. It's going to cost you a game. You know what I mean? So I didn't do everything right, but I showed up. I was part of my kid's life. My daughters do cheerleading. I'm a guy. You know what? I'm the biggest cheerleading dad there is because I have to show them equal love. My daughter's going to Catholic school next year. I ain't even about all that Catholic school stuff. But you know what I'm about? Being a good dad and supporting my daughter because she wants to go there. She ain't going to hear that negative shit. Just like with my kids and the coaches. And you know this shit ain't fair. The coach's kid, all this shit, right? I used to not feed into that and tell my kid that shit. I'd be like, dude, you need to try a little more, that's all. What are you telling your kid if you're telling him that shit? You know? You guys, I heard it from you guys. That's how I became this good dad. I heard it from other people. I didn't learn it from my dad. You know, I love my father and everything, but he wasn't at the games the year I played baseball. It was my grandmother dying of cancer sitting in the car with a neck brace on. She was there supporting her grandson. You know? And I don't give a shit who's in this room tonight. If you played sports and your father didn't show up, don't tell me it didn't crush you. How many of us sit here tonight and we said we'd never be like our old mans and we're freaking just like them? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? This is reality. This is reality central. That's what I like about meetings. How about I can believe when someone's coming back and I watch them, I believe they're in pain. I believe it don't get any better. I don't have to go out and try it. That's how I got 25 years clean right now, because I watched others and I learned. And it's hard when you're new. It's hard to believe people really want to help you. It's hard to believe that people are telling you the truth. I'll tell you a secret. Some of them are lying their ass off to you. You know what I mean? Usually you should hang out with the people you hate. You should hang out with those people. Because I found it helped Tom a lot. You know? 22 years ago or 23 years ago, Tom looked across the room and I was speaking and Tom says, I need new friends like you. And then later we go out and he tells me he doesn't even fucking like me. You know what I mean? How do you pick friends up like that? You know? Surprised he found a wife, you know? Those pickup lines. You know? I got my buddy Bobby in the room tonight. Runned and gunned with him. He has stories that no one else will believe. No one else will believe them. Just like I'm sure you got someone like that in your life. You know what I mean? People are sacred people, man. I ain't saying if you're clean and they ain't clean, you don't hang around with them. All I'm saying is that those are the people that really know what you were about. Go ask them if they have a problem. You don't even have to go ask mom and dad. You know? That's the point I got at. I got at the point where those friends, they didn't want nothing to do with me no more. You know, like when you say, if I get as bad as that dude, and then you and that dude are looking at someone, and you're like, if we get as bad as that dude, and then next thing you know, all three of you are hanging out, and you're looking at the dude that's under a bridge. That's why we think that alcoholics are the homeless guys under bridges, or they live in the woods. Because we didn't want to believe we were alcoholics. We didn't want to believe we were drug addicts. Today I'm grateful I'm an addict. I'm grateful I know that. I'm grateful that when I pick up, I know my life is totally going to be a disaster. And today I got shit going on. But you know what great shit I got going on? I got 3 kids that love me. Love me. People in here that know me outside this meeting, they know that I ain't lying. They know my kids are soaring to the moon. They're doing all kinds of great shit. It's unbelievable. Thanks for being a great dad. You know, my daughter that's 13, she wrote me a little thing before I came here. And it says, I just want you to know that I'm so proud of you, Dad, because you're a guy that hit rock bottom and was a real loser. Nice. And you picked yourself, yeah. And you picked yourself up and you came back and you've been a great dad for us. And hopefully you can keep helping other people and one day you'll have that sober house you always wanted. That's good shit right there. You know? My son called me from Florida. He congratulated me. My daughter called me from her college. She congratulated me. They'll be home this weekend for Easter. We'll all hang out as a family. That's nice stuff. That's not insanity. That's not like I'm going to get a gallon of milk and I come back a week later. You know what I mean? I know people in the room can identify with that shit. You know? Yeah. No milk, freaking no clothes, no nothing. No wallet. One other thing I want to touch on is how much we can the drama, right? I say this all the time. You're up all night getting high, so you can't go to work. So you call your boss. You can't just say you got a flat or the car didn't start. Right? Joe? Ain't if I can believe this. I'm driving. I get both my tires blowed on the right side of the car. My girlfriend's with me. We almost flip over. Her arm, I think, might have got ripped off. Go in the emergency room now. I'm going to check everything out, but I'll be in the morning. Right? I mean, it's just amazing. And some of the stories, the sad part is, some of the stories we tell are true. They're true. True stories. You know? Like my buddy Finch running down the pier, that there's no water, he didn't even look. Jumps in a freaking scallop freaking bed. You know? His whole face is just, I mean, you can't make that shit up.
But do you think you'll be able to watch him at 4:30, but Eric is going to be home?
I can remember this chick getting me so pissed off, and I decided I was going to throw something to, like, scare her.
So
And this big rock, I throw it. It bounces off the ground, ricochets off of a freaking sign, and hits her in the knee. She goes down like a rock. I'm at the emergency room.
4:30? Eric is going to be home at 5:30.
Bad luck? No, insanity.
And this is
That's
the
how it happens. The other little secret is I thought insanity meant you, like, went to a place. They put you in a straitjacket. Insanity, people, is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. So if you keep relapsing, that's kind of what you're doing. I had an old timer tell me one time, he says, you know these people that always come back? He goes, we're addicts. Some people are addicted to relapse.
4:30.
Think about that shit. It's crazy as shit we get. The highs, the lows, the insanity. I know when I first got here, I needed insanity in my life. Otherwise, I couldn't sit still.
Well, you
I needed craziness going on. I needed noise. I needed that shit. You know? But I don't need it now. I just want a simple life. My first, I needed everything. You gotta have everything, and it's gotta be big. Then you get everything, and it's big. You say, the fuck do I need this shit for? No, everything's complicated. You know? That's why I need a sponsor. That's why I need directions. That's why they have those steps. Like if your car ain't working out there, they got this book in the glove compartment, owner's manual. That's the owner's manual of staying clean right there. That's how you do it. But you can pop the hood and be looking at shit thinking you're a mechanic. Next thing you know, your whole car's fucked up. You know what I mean? And then you got to bring it to a mechanic. You know how crazy it is? I never even thought to look in that book. You know the table of contents in the back of a thing? I never even looked at that when I was looking something up. I just looked through every page till I found this shit. My son taught me that. Kevin that comes here. I used to be afraid to go in the store and use my credit card because I didn't know if there was enough on it. He goes, there's a number on the back of the card. You can call it before you go in the store. I mean, the shit you can learn in here, right? He says, what do you think the number was for? I says, I thought it was so if the card got stolen, you could call. He goes, if the car gets stolen, how the fuck are you going to find out that that's the number? That's how good my thinking is still. So I need guidance. I need someone to help me. You know? I found guys in here when I had kids that were good dads, and that's who I hung out with to learn how to be a good dad. When I first got clean, I hung out with people that had a lot of clean time because pretty much they went through all the shit. And they would teach me how to stay clean through all the shit. That's how it works, people. You got to stick someone in your pocket. Sometimes you need to be babysitted at first. Sometimes when you're helpless, hopeless, and worthless, you need someone to give you a little hope. And you need someone to tell you you're worth something. And everyone in this room's worth something. And you don't have to go anywhere else for a miracle. You know? And I always end with this. And you struggle for self and the world makes you clean for the day. Go to the mirror and take a look at yourself and see what that person has to say. Some people may call you a straight shooting chum. You can call you a wonderful guy. But the one in the glass says you're only a bum. You can't look them straight in the eye. So you're with you straight up till the end. In this encounter, you can't pass. And your final reward, people, will be heartache and tears as you keep cheating that one in the glass. I'll shut up.